Alright lads, welcome back to another video, and this one is going to be my SPFL Games of the Week. But before we start the episode today, I've got two things to mention. First up, it's my dad's birthday. Happy birthday, Father. You'll be watching this on your way back from work. Obviously I saw you at the weekend. Happy birthday and all the best on your 49th. I'm sure you'll be glad that I'm mentioning that on this platform. And then the other thing to mention is the like target on these videos. Obviously I didn't really set like targets on these videos, but I'd like to see the likes go up a bit more. So, like the last word, let's try and get it to about 50, and let's see if we can hit that sort of mark on a consistent basis for these videos, because they are a video that I'm going to be doing throughout the season, and hopefully I can see the support for you lot that you like the video enough for me to keep it going throughout the season. But that's that for the things at the start of the video really. Now let's just get into the video and start off with my Premiership Game of the Week. Now for me this week in the Premiership, there wasn't really much choice. There wasn't many goals in the league, and there wasn't many exciting results on the whole throughout the full league in the Premiership. So the only standout fixture to me was Rangers' 5-0 defeat of Aberdeen. It was an impressive one, no doubt about that. Rangers v Aberdeen is always a iconic sort of fixture, and it's sort of like a mini derby in itself. It's definitely a rivalry, and for Rangers to come out, convincingly win and dominate the game as much as they did. I mean, just look at these stats from the game itself. Rangers have absolutely dominated this fixture, and it really is a blight on Derek McInnes and Aberdeen at this point, because they're now really falling behind Rangers and Celtic, whereas Aberdeen in recent years were at least up challenging with them. And this start to the season for Aberdeen hasn't spelled that sort of season for them that they have had in recent years, whereas I said they have been challenging up there with those teams. Rangers, however, this is very positive for them, of course. They have to be keeping up with Celtic, and whenever Celtic slip up, they need to be continuously winning games. And Celtic slipped up at the weekend, drew 1-1 with Hibs. No matter how controversial that result was in terms of the actual game and decisions made, etc, etc, I didn't want to get into any of that. Celtic dropped points and Rangers picked up 3. And now the only thing that's keeping Celtic and Rangers apart is that Old Firm or Glasgow Derby, whatever, win for Celtic at Ibrox. And I said a couple of weeks ago, I think that's what will separate the teams this season. It will depend on who has the better record in those derby games, and that will decide who picks up the Premiership title at the end of the season. As I said, this fixture, Aberdeen's biggest defeat since a 5-0 loss to Hearts almost 5 years ago, and one of Rangers' most impressive performances, not only this season but in the last few seasons as well. A win against Aberdeen at Ibrox, you can't really ask much more than that, obviously. A win against Celtic might be a bit better, but on the whole, just now, I don't imagine many Rangers fans are unhappy with their season so far. They've had one blight in their record, and that was against Celtic, and it's the only thing holding them back from being top of the league. So at this point, good result for Rangers, and not so good for Aberdeen. Now moving straight on down into the Championship. Now in the Championship this weekend, there was certainly a few more outstanding fixtures. One, Dundee United's 6-0 win over Morton at Tannadice obviously has its high points. Lawrence Shankland getting another hat-trick, scoring the amount of goals that he is. Paul McMillan having a really good game as well, and overall Dundee United performing very well in this league so far. Another one to mention is Ayer's 3-0 away win at Arbroath after losing Ian McCall earlier in the week, but then going out on the Saturday and still doing the business just as much as they were when he was in charge. But speaking of Ian McCall, my Championship Game of the Week for this weekend has to be Partick Thistle's 3-1 away win at Inverness. In my opinion, this one was really unexpected. I was expecting Inverness to at least have enough to get a point against Partick, because Inverness have started the season well, and I just didn't think that the Ian McCall sort of effect would have came into place just yet. I didn't think it was like going to be that immediate, and it turns out it has been a 3-1 win away from home, as I said, at Inverness, which is not an easy venue to go to, and especially when you've been on such a turgid run of form like Partick had been. No league wins so far this season, losing 3-0 last weekend. Of course that was when they didn't have a manager, but Ian McCall coming in, I just didn't think it was going to hit the ground running as quickly as it clearly did. Goals pretty much set throughout the game, one in the 10th minute, one just after half time, and one in the last 10 minutes of the game. Partick have clearly just went away and done the business, and done exactly what their fans will want them to do from now on, and start pushing towards that promotion playoff place. As said in my video last week, when I was talking about Ian McCall being appointed, that I didn't know if Partick were going to have enough at this point to be able to make the playoffs, but looking at the league table, there really is no reason why they can't, because I think in 4th place currently is Inverness, and of course Partick have proven that they can beat Inverness now, so there's definitely a place in those promotion playoffs for a team to take it, and there's no doubt that Partick are now one of those teams that could end up taking it. Ian McCall's first game in charge was clearly a massive success, and that is why it's my championship game of the week. Now straight on down into Scottish League 1. Now again, there was a few other results that I could have picked for this week. Just look at these ones, for example. Wraith's comeback win at Forfar and Clyde's comeback win at Dumbarton. Two good results on paper, but I'm going to go for Montrose's 4-3 win at home to Peterhead. Albeit these two teams have no real impact on any promotion places at this point in the season. Montrose still sit bottom of the league even after winning yesterday, and Peterhead sit 2 places above them, and I think about 5 points ahead of Montrose, so it really didn't change much in the league. But how can you look away from a game that's had 7 goals in it, and it clearly had so much action involved? Montrose were 3-1 up at half time, and then Peterhead came back out in the second half and put it up to 3-3. And then, in about the hour mark, Montrose scored again and made it 4-3. The game then obviously petered out a bit, but it was a good game nonetheless. Goals in a game, that makes an entertaining watch for fans. And if you're going across there to even just see Links Park for once and be a sort of neutral, you've definitely taken the right game. As I said, goals make games. I love goals in football. I would rather that than a tight, tense affair that goes down to the last minute, if I'm being perfectly honest. Usually in these type of games, when it's quite a high scoring game and it's only sorted out by the 1 goal margin, usually you'll get a late goal. But these goals were all scored between the 13th and the 62nd minute, so it was kind of a weird sort of dynamic to a game. There wasn't much action in the latter stages of the game, which, as I said, you usually find with these sort of games, that there is always a later goal scored. But this one was a bit different, and I know I said about the 2 other games in the league which were comeback wins. Wraith Rovers coming back at Forfar to win and go top of the league. Outstanding result, and fair play to the wee team. Also Clyde's comeback win away at Dumbarton, which for Dumbarton will be a poor result, but for Clyde puts them into the promotion playoffs in 4th position, and it will be a welcome weekend for them as well. But I'm going to stick with what I've said for my Scottish League 1 game of the week this weekend and say it's Montrose 4, Peterhead 3. And now finally, moving on down into Scottish League 2. I spoke about it yesterday on the last word, and I'm definitely going to be speaking about it again today, because it's my SPFL game of the week for Scottish League 2, and it's Brechin City 2, Elgin City 1. In yesterday's episode of The Last Word, I spoke about how Brechin City have had a torrid couple of years, 2 or 3 years now, in the SPFL, and they're not exactly having a great start to this season either. They've been down the bottom of League 2 this season so far, and they're still down the bottom. I think they're 2nd or 3rd bottom at this point, possibly 2nd bottom, and only thanks to Stirling Albion's horrendous start to the season, just as bad as Brechin's has been pretty much. Brechin have managed to pick up a win to take them off bottom spot for now. It's a good wee result for a team like Brechin. I love Brechin, I love their wee ground, and it would be a massive shame to see them go out of the SPFL. It's very early doors just yet, we've still got about 30 games left in the season to play, but a start to the season like this, it can really harm players' confidence going into a season. And for Brechin, they've had a lot of years now of continuous failure to win games on a consistent basis, it can get into the psyche of players. So winning a game like this in the last minute as well, 91st minute winner, hopefully for them, because I said I like Brecon, hopefully it can start to build their confidence a bit, because I don't want to see them fall out of the SPFL. I want Glebe Park to stay in the SPFL to be able to go there on cup games, because I don't imagine we'll be in the league anytime soon. So please, Brecon, start to pull up your form, because I don't want to slip them out of the leagues. And that's it for this video, guys. Cheers for watching. If you did enjoy it, please give it a like, comment down below your game of the week for the SPFL from this weekend's games, and subscribe for more of this type of content. And until the next video, I'll see you then. Cheers, guys.